Welcome back, Captains, to another Infinite Galaxy video. This is Dragothian here, and today we're going to be talking about Infinite Galaxy's new system, the Galaxy Summit platform, where you can challenge any alliance in the game, or be challenged by any alliance in the entire game. Does not matter which nebula you're in, does not matter about anything. The only thing that matters is your window on when you can be challenged, or when you want to challenge your opponent. Now, by extension of that, that's what we've been doing the last week, by the way. But by extension of that, I want to talk about the actual ship types in the game, because this game mode inside of Infinite Galaxy has made it very clear and also very critical that you understand the point of the different types of warships. And what I've seen based on battle, PvP battle, we're not talking fighting marauders or deep space relics or PvE in general. We're talking PvP, fighting your fellow man. We're going to be going into the different types of ships inside the game so that you can understand what you should be doing to prepare for the role that you want to have inside of this system. So let's jump into the game really quick and let's talk about all these neat little features. All right, so first off, the game itself, right? It's kind of evolved from the beginning where the ships were just kind of ideas, and you just picked your favorite flagship, and then that's the ship you built. Well, now that we've got events like Galaxy Summit, you really need to understand what these ships do, because if you're trying to do something that the ships are not built for, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. And if your most important thing inside the game, which right now to me, this is the most important thing inside the game, is going to be Galaxy Summit. And that's, again, the Alliance versus Alliance platform inside the game where you can just fight other alliances in the game. It's really fun. You have to understand what you are wanting to do. Like, what as a player, what do you want to bring to the team? What do you want to bring to the fold? And when it comes to strategy, there's some very important critical strategies inside of the Galaxy Summit system that you need to be aware of. So first off, one key point that you need to understand about that platform is that speed is almost everything. The map itself is very long, where it's got sectors in between two HQ starting points, one on each side, and you need to be able to traverse those star systems quickly and efficiently. And especially at the beginning of the game, whenever you first pour out of the gates, you want to get as far downfield as humanly possible, taking all of those star system platforms on the way, not to mention getting those sweet buffs at the very beginning too. Those are critical on getting an upper hand very early on in the match. Well, the best way to do that in this game is to use frigates. I mean, it's been made abundantly clear to me in this game that you need to be speedy inside of this game. And with the current, I guess, regular game meta of being cruisers, because they survive really a long time, they do a ton of damage. A lot of people play the game, especially up until the point of Galaxy Summit coming out, where you're just pounding cruisers because that's the best thing you can throw out to kill marauders, to kill marauders being pirates, to kill deep space relics, to do your rallies, to do your tactical training center, to do your simulation center, to do all those things. Cruisers tend to be the best because they just do the most damage and they're super tanky, and they have some of the best flagships in the game with the Cyclops and the Brontus and things like that. Well, in PvP, it's a little bit of a different story, because this is really where the frigate taking out the cruiser, taking out the destroyer, taking out the frigate, that circle chain of extra damage that you get from flagship bonuses, and then also from warship to warship, is really heavily focused on. Because in our last match, I was taking on players that were 1 to 2 million leadership lower than me on my fleet, that they were frigate based, and I was losing on my cruisers. I mean, that's how significant this bonus is. So, not to mention the fact that I just talked about speed, frigates are going to be the meta when we're talking about really effectively bringing a strategy together inside of Galaxy Summit. That's really going to be the key, in my opinion. The more frigates you got, and that means also the more Artemises you have, because that's a really heavy frigate type of flagship, the better off you're going to be. Now, again, the counter to frigates right now is destroyers, and that's going to bring up your Hades, your Radamanthus, and then you can start bringing in some other ships that are PvP based, like the Poseidon and the Hephaestus and the Odysseus and things like that, and you can start to mix and match those flagships together with the right warship type. To me, here's the 3 breakdowns of the flagship or the warships inside of Galaxy Summit. First off, frigates should be your main priority. That's going to be your front line, capturing territory quickly and efficiently. You're going to be attacking and moving the battle as much as possible, because there's 3 lanes inside of Galaxy Summit, and if you can traverse those lanes more quickly than your opponent, you're going to have an advantage. Having that movement advantage is very key. You can't make a cruiser-based army, like is what I tend to have right now, go places very quickly, because they just tend to take a long time to get there. They're very slow. So with frigates, you can take your Artemis-led armies or Artemis-led fleets with 5-10 people, and you can do shock troop, shock warship type maneuvers where you can get a large number of fighters to particular places that your enemy can't react to as quickly, and you can put them off balance, and again, you can use that to your advantage. So to me, the majority of your army should be made up, at least half, of frigates. Frigate-based fleets should be at least half of your player base when you're talking about putting together a solid strategy for Galaxy Summit and Infinite Galaxy. So that way, again, when you start off at the very beginning of a match, you can fly out of the HQ and start taking those platforms right away, grab the buffs immediately before your opponent can even get there, especially if they're using destroyers, or especially if they're using cruisers, and you can grab all those benefits and those bonuses and get the upper hand right away, while the other folks come behind you and start to secure the things that you've already taken with those frigates in the game. Now, again, we talked about it. Destroyers are the anti-frigate, okay? To me, destroyers are supposed to be the main garrison type of situations. You want to be able to man your star platforms inside of Galaxy Summit with destroyer-based armies. Again, leading those armies with those destroyer type of flagships that do bonus with destroyers, giving you bonus to the damage that destroyers do to frigates. That's another big thing. And again, having those cruisers and cruisers to basically open field fight around the starport area, so that you can have less targets rejoining and filling the attack that's happening on the starport. So that's, to me, that's the way to play. And again, cruisers being the tanky open field, like heavy hitting damage dealers, have those folks swarm individual targets and cause some significant damage on the open field, while your destroyers are manning your garrisons that are getting attacked by the frigates. It's going to be a cycle there, and to me, that's the way that it needs to be played. Frigates to be your frontline, mainline focused players, being running around the map in the different locations, moving the fights across the 3 different lanes. Destroyers coming up behind with major flagships. 4 destroyers to be your garrison type troops to hold the line, while your frigates continue to try and poke and prod throughout the different lanes to take more territory, and you just keep frog hopping those destroyer garrisons up to the next level until you start to get towards the HQ. Then you mass swarm the HQ to take that victory. And again, cruisers for the open field to try and take an advantage away from reinforcing troops, especially when you start to get towards the other side of the map where it's quicker for them to reinforce than it is for you to reinforce. You want those cruisers to be able to dampen those reinforcements that are going to be coming to try and rally and, well, swarm your platform down that you took so long to take with your frigates and with your destroyers. And again, put your frigates and destroyers inside that garrison while other frigates are trying to come and try and take those platforms back for you. To me, that's the play here, because again, you've got so many different ways to play it, but that's the best, safest way, in my opinion, to go ahead and get a victory in Galaxy Summit. Obviously, one of the biggest things you need is players. So make sure that your team shows up for that system event, because if you don't have enough players, all the strategy in the world goes out the window, and you can just basically kiss your HQ goodbye. But again, this frigate here, tier 8 frigate, it's kinetic damage, which means there's no debuff to the damage that this frigate provides. And again, when you pair it up with, say, again, a Artemis, or if you don't necessarily have all the legendary blueprints that you need to really get this guy leveled up, and maybe you can go and play on the Orion, which is the epic version of this, which I just summoned earlier. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. Where are you, Orion? I know I've got you. Am I just missing you? There it is. Here's the Orion against basically the epic version of the Artemis. And again, you can play with this too. It just has half the stats as the Artemis when it comes to what it brings to the table. But same premise, frigate armor, frigate shield bonuses. You've got total warship shields as well. You've got frigate navigate speed, which is exactly what I'm talking about, as well as frigate HP. Very, very critical. And again, total warship armor. This makes the frigates super tanky. It makes them fast, and it makes them reliable, especially when you're talking about if you can spring for an Artemis, which we do have a mastery guide on the Artemis on this channel in the playlist for Infinite Galaxy. You go and grab that. You're going to have warship attack bonuses, and again, all the same things that we talked about: increasing the armor of the fleet, increasing the defense of the frigates, increasing the shield of deployed fleets, increasing HP and movement speed of frigates. That is essential to getting a victory inside of Galaxy Summit. Frigates are going to be the new meta for PvP. Believe it or not, that is my prediction. If it hasn't already been kind of established already, I feel like it's kind of starting to be that way, kind of obvious, but I wanted to put a video together to make sure you know what you're doing so that you can do that. And again, pair that Artemis with again, the Orion that I showed you earlier. You can pair it up with a Theseus if you don't have, again, a whole lot of legendary blueprints. This is going to be a generic leadership-based HP to deployed fleets, defense of deployed fleets, attack and shield when attacking other commanders. Any of these PvP-based flagships, again, Theseus, the Poseidon, again, the Odysseus is a great one. I just got this one upgraded to rank 9, by the way. Very, very nice. I got the Awakening skill, Succubus Party. And this is looking really good too. I'm going to need to start outfitting this guy, and I think I'm actually going to pair Odysseus with the Artemis on my pair up. I know a very high level player that uses the Titan to do the very same thing. Using the Titan, again, warship attack bonus, attack of deployed fleets. This is very strong. In the game, attack is one of the lowest based stat bonuses you can get, so you want to get as much attack as humanly possible. Range of deployed fleets, very, very important. We made a video on range in this game and how important that is. Increasing attack when the total HP is above 70%. Increasing attack and defense against other commanders. That is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You need to have good pairs like that in this game on the Galaxy Summit event. And again, as the game continues to evolve and we start to see Nebula versus Nebula fights and not just Alliance versus Alliance fights, this is going to be even more critical, especially with how they plan to maybe bring the Nebula versus Nebula system to bear. Interested to see how they do that, if they make a new map or if they decide that you can invade other nebulas as they sit. We'll have to wait and see how they do that. But very, very strong. I've enjoyed this week of Galaxy Summit. I've had 5 matches so far. We've lost 1. We did that yesterday on a stream. And again, I think it was very apparent why, besides the fact that we didn't have as many players as they did for the majority of the match, but frigates. We didn't have as many frigates. We had a lot of cruisers, we had some destroyers, and we had some frigates, but it was mostly cruiser based. And I think that's what really kind of put us on our back foot right from the beginning of the match. So I think that's a very, very good takeaway and what made me kind of make this video for you all. So I hope it's been helpful. I know it's more of kind of like a chatty podcast instead of it being more of a graphics based. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. This is more of a me chatting about the game, but I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you guys in game. Make sure you click the link below if you want to get inside of Infinite Galaxy. I am in Nebula 12. If you want to come join us, reach out to myself, reach out to Fearless. We'll be happy to get you guys squared away. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one, and take care.